course is basic algebra. We're not going to do like hectic algebra just yet. That's all coming up. For now, I just want us to be comfortable with what algebra is, why algebra is important, etc., before we start doing the more intense stuff later on in the year. Alrighty, so like Yolanda said, please remember to take screenshots, just because there is quite a fair amount of writing in this section. And so just remember to take screenshots that you can go back to your notes and see what was going on. Sorry, I just want to open my blind. It's a bit dark in here. Alrighty, so let's just have a look at a nice, easy, basic question. We're not going to stress just yet about the letters and the algebra and all of that. Let's just get into a habit of being able to get an expression when we've been asked something. So it says Chloe is now 13 years old. So quickly in the chat, put the answer for how old she will be in 1 year's time. So how old will she be in 1 year time? Nice, guys. Well done. Okay, so we know that if she's currently 13, we will add 1 to her age, and we get that she will be 14 years in 1 year's time. Woo, very, very nice. Okay, guys, how old will she be in 2 years' time? So again, on the chat, quickly put for me there, how old is she going to be in 2 years? Nice. So if she's currently 13, in 2 years' time, she will be 16 years old. No, she won't. She will be 15 years old. I can't do basic maths tonight. All right, 15 years old, because 13 plus 2 is 15. Right, what about C? How old was she 4 years ago? How would we work that out? What would her age have been 4 years ago? Okay, we got some mixed answers here, but let's see. For the most part, we're getting them. So she's currently 13. We want 4 years ago, so in the past, which means we actually want to take 4 years away from her. And if we take 4 years away from her current age of 13, we get an answer of 9 years old. Alrighty, so this was more just like an introduction to how we think about problems and how we decide what operations we should be doing, because this is now where algebra comes in. So we're going to look at a very similar type of question, except now we're not going to know the age of the person we're talking about. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, quickly take a screenshot. I'm going to move on to the next one. You can sort of see the beginnings of it. But let's have a look at how we can now incorporate algebra into this. Oh, golly. Okay, so teacher Sam is X years old. So now this is a situation where we're talking about exactly the same thing. We're talking about an age, but I don't know what the age is. All I know is that we have X years. Now, what's really important here, guys, is this is essentially what algebra is. Algebra is us using a letter to represent an unknown value. So when we don't know the actual number, we use a letter to represent the unknown number or the unknown value. And this is what that X is doing. We know that she's some years old, some age, or I am some age. We just don't know what the age is. And from that, we can now start to build expressions like we did in the first question to help us eventually, hopefully, get to an age at some point. Okay, so on the chat quickly, we know that teacher Sam is currently X years old. So as it stands, I am X years old. What would we say, or what would the expression be, or what would we write down for my age in 3 years' time? So on the chat, what would my age be in 3 years' time if I'm currently X years old? If you're struggling, don't stress. I just want to see if anyone's getting it. Zechofatzel, very nice. Alrighty, guys. So let's think about this. We're in 2023. Okay, so 2023, 24, 25, 2026. So currently I'm X years old. In 1 year's time, I will be whatever I was in 2023 plus another year. In 2025, I will be whatever I was in 2024, which was X plus 1, plus another year. So that's actually just X plus 2. And in 2026, I will be what I was in 2025, which let's just simplify this, which was X plus 2 plus another year. So that's actually X plus 3. So when we're adding on years to the age, or when we're adding on values to our unknown, we want to use that specific operation. So in 3 years' time, I will be X plus 3. Be very careful. X times 3. So those of you who are saying 3 times X or X times 3, it doesn't matter. That would be triple my age. So I could say something like, Mr. X is triple Teacher Sam's age. How old is Mr. X? That is when we would say times, because we want to make it 3 times bigger. But here we just want to add 3 years onto the age. And so our expression will be X plus 3. So if we use that same logic and we now think about how old I will be in 7 years' time. Well, I'm currently X. I need to add 7 years onto my age. So in 7 years' time, I will be X plus 7 years. Right, so in the chat, try for me. How old was I 4 years ago? What would the expression be for how old I was 4 years ago? Very nice, guys. So I'm currently X years old. I want to know how old I was 4 years ago. So I need to take away 4 years from my current age. So that would be X minus 4. Again, not 4X, because that is saying my age multiplied 4 times, so quadruple my age. I just want to take 4 years away. 4 years ago is subtracting 4 years. Right, what about the last one? How old was I last year? So what would the expression look like for my age exactly 1 year ago for my birthday?
Woo. Let's go, my people. We are nailing this.
Very nice, guys. So exactly 1 year ago, so if we sort of go back up to this beautiful number line I had going on here, would be in 2022. I'm going backwards now. So I want to take the age I was in 2023 and subtract 1. And so my age for a year ago or last year would be X minus 1. Now, very importantly, this is now sort of like the foundation of our algebra. We've used an unknown, or we've used a letter to represent an unknown value. And we have created what we call algebraic expressions to represent different scenarios. Sorry, that's a weird A at the start there. So these algebraic expressions represent my age at different points. In 3 years, in 7 years, 4 years, etc., etc. And what this helps me do is now if I say to you, I'm 16 years old, which I'm obviously not. So if I now said Teacher Sam is 16 years old, you could very easily go and find out the ages at all of these different points. So let's pretend I am 16, if only I was. So if I am 16 years old, I could now substitute in and find out my age in 3 years' time. I'd be 19. My age in 7 years' time, I'd be 23. My age 4 years ago, I was 12. My age last year, I was 15. And so these algebraic expressions allow me to have some mathematical sentence almost that I could substitute in a value and work out whatever it is I want to work out. So this is now, like I say, like the foundation of algebra. These algebraic expressions are what we're going to build on as we go along. So it's very important that we can write algebraic expressions from information given to us, and that we can then use these algebraic expressions, whether it's through substitution, whether it's through simplification, etc., etc. Okay, so I'm going to stop and let you take a screenshot. If at any point anyone has a question, now is the time to raise your hand to ask me your question. Otherwise, we're going to move on to the next example.
So my people, with the shows of hands, like thumbs up, thumbs down, do you understand the work that teacher Sam has taught us? Does it make sense? Hopefully you took screenshots. So let's vote, okay? We are 49 of us here. Let's see. I see those hands, those thumbs. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep voting. Those ones who haven't voted, we just want to get an understanding of where we're at. Yes, there we go. Well done, people.
Sounds like everyone's favorite section is algebra. Nice.
Yeah, we love algebra. Nice, Anna. Nice blessings. Nice, Lara. Yes, Naledi. I love it. There we go.
Good, guys. Okay, cool. Well, that's awesome to see. Well done. Right, so let's have a look at question 3 here. So again, what we want to do is we want to write down or state an algebraic expression for each of these following situations. So I'll do 1 or 2 with you, and then I'm going to ask you to try the rest by yourself. So let's, whoopsie daisy, sorry, I don't know what happened there. I'm just going to pick 2 at random. Sorry, my screen's now gone small. Let me just make it bigger. Let us do together question B, and let's do question E. Okay. So if we look at question B is saying add C to 9. So I currently have the value 9. I want to add C to it. So my algebraic expression for that statement is 9 plus C. I am adding C to my value 9. Now, again, the reason that we're sort of practicing this stuff, it might seem a bit silly, is because often what happens with algebra is, like I said, you have to write an expression, or you have to take a problem and you have to make your own expression or equation. This comes into like word problems and stuff like that. And so what we need to like train our minds to do is read questions very carefully so that we are writing down the correct algebraic expressions. Okay, so add C to 9. I have 9. I want to add C to it. So 9 plus C. If we now have a look at question E, it says 11 less than Y. So I'm currently sitting with Y, whatever, Y oranges, and I want 11 less than that. So I need to subtract 11. This is 11 less than Y. Less than, subtract, whoops, and I have Y, I need 11 taken away from that. So I want you guys to try for me A, C, and D. I want those answers in the chat. Please remember to number your answers A, C, and D. And then I will take some hands for those answers, but I don't want any hands just yet. I want the expressions first. Try A, C, and D. Remember, guys, if you do have questions, like Yolanda told you, you're welcome to put them in the chat, or you're welcome to send us a message, a direct message, but give them a try. So the first one is saying add 5 to X. So that's very similar to question B. Question C is saying subtract 7 from W. So you have W, you want to take away 7. And question D is saying D more than 9. You have 9 and you want D more. So let's see what those expressions look like. Remember to number your expressions A, C, and D, just that we know which is which. Otherwise, it becomes quite complicated. Again, guys, if you don't understand, we need a specific question or what it is you don't understand so that we can help you. Unfortunately, we can't re-explain everything. So if you're not understanding or if it's not making sense, pop a message or a question on the chat, or send Yolanda or myself a direct message and we can try and help you from there. Well done on numbering those answers, guys. Oops, sorry.
We can do this, my people. Remember, for those ones who says they still don't understand, we are here. You can definitely just direct message me and we can chat about what is it that you don't understand and we'll be able to help you, okay? And after doing corrections, definitely there will be time also for questions. So we see you and welcome.
Okay, guys, so let's take some hands. If you would like to read.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. Just
Sorry. If you guys would like to raise your hand to give me an answer to A, C, or D, now is the time to raise your hand. Otherwise, I will go through them myself, but I'll give you an opportunity if you'd like to raise your hand to give me some answers. Okay, Mavuyo, nice. Do you want to give me A?
Yes, ma'am. A is equals to 5 plus x.
Okay, cool. So there's something that Mavuyo's sort of said here, which I want to point out. So it's very nicely done. It's saying add 5 to x. Okay, so people who are wanting me to explain, now's the time to listen because I'm going through these answers. So this is your explanation. So it says add 5 to x. So basically what that means is that we currently have x. We want to add 5 to it. That is according to the order of my sentence. Now, what I want you guys to remember is that the order of addition doesn't matter. 5 plus x means exactly the same thing. And the reason for that is if we consider 1 plus 2, if I would write, versus 2 plus 1, it doesn't matter in which order I add them. I'm still getting an answer of 3. So 5 plus x and x plus 5 does mean the same thing. So either one of those I would be happy with. That does also mean for question B, because again, it's addition. You could have said C plus 9, because again, the order in which you add doesn't matter. As long as you are adding them together, I'm happy. C, though, it is very important that we get the order correct. So would anyone else like to raise their hand to give me C? Oops, sorry. Olufunke? Oh. You there?
W minus 7.
Excellent, well done. So guys, here again, like I said, the order is very important. It says subtract 7 from W. So you start with W whatever, W Smarties, and you take 7 away. So the W has to come first. Subtract 7 from W. Now again, just to like make the point, this is important. Order is important when we subtract, because if I say 1 minus 2 and 2 minus 1, so if I swap the order, I get different answers. 1 minus 2 is negative 1, but 2 minus 1 is positive 1. Those are two different answers. One is positive, one is negative. So when we subtract, order is very important. I'm just going to make a little note here. Order is important. NB. And so if you had said 7 minus W, that is wrong. What you have done is you have subtracted W from 7. We want it the other way around. 7 from W. But all very nice. Anyone want to help me with D? D more than 9? Reese? There should be a pop-up to unmute. I'm now just clicking things. Mavoyo, please ignore me. Sri's gone. Okay. I want to say Lixa, but that's probably not right. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Do you want to help me with D?
The answer to D is D plus 9.
Okay, cool. So again, it's saying D more than 9. So we know we're adding. Now, again, if we went according to the order of these words, D more than 9, I'm starting with 9 and I want to add D. But because we've had this discussion around the fact that addition, the order doesn't matter, D plus 9 is absolutely fine too. Okay, so for D, either you said 9 plus D, or you said D plus 9. Doesn't matter which one because they're both additions, so order is not important. But those are the expressions that we've gotten here for A to E. Righty, guys, so take your screenshots. Now is the time to raise your hand if you have any questions for me while everyone's taking their screenshots. Okay, so if you have questions, raise your hand, ask your questions. Like I said, this is such an important section, so let's make sure we get it right. No questions. Okay, guys, I hope you all have your screenshots. Okay. Alrighty, guys, so let's just have a look at one last example, and then we will take a little brain break before we carry on. Alrighty, so here we've got two expressions. So my first expression says x plus 5, and it says I'm now giving you the value of the variable. So it says if we have a value for the variable, then we can calculate the value of the expression. And that's essentially what I was talking about right at the beginning of the lesson. So we've got the expression x plus 5, and I'm telling you x is equal to 3. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm saying this value x over here, that is actually a value of positive 3. And so what that means we can do is we can use substitution to calculate the value of our expression. Let's figure out how to spell that for a second. Substitution. So we've got x plus 5. We now know x is 3, so we can fill in 3. And guys, always use brackets when you're substituting, just in case there is a sign that you need to be careful of. But here, there's no signs we need to stress about. We've got positive 3 plus 5. And so we know that our sum here is 8. So if I give you the value of a variable, so of the letter, you can use substitution to go and work out the value of the whole expression. So what I want you guys to try for me is the second one. So here, I've now given you the expression y plus 7, and I'm telling you that y is equal to 23. So I want you to substitute that in for me, and I want you to let me know on the chat what answer you get. Remember, it is a subtraction, so just be careful. We are saying y minus 7. Nice, guys. I'm seeing some awesome answers going on here. Princess, well done on numbering your answer for me. Well done. Right, guys, so we know y is 23, so I substitute in 23. I need to subtract 7. Now remember, you're starting with 23 whatevers, and you're taking 7 away, so this value should get smaller. 23 minus 7 is 16. So the value of my expression in question B, if y is 23, will be 16. Okay, so very importantly is, because what they often like to do is they like to give you expressions and ask you to simplify, ask you to write out expressions. But then they'll say to you, okay, now if x equals 2 or y equals 7, what is the value of the expression? So you need to be able to substitute and then do your order of work as we've spoken about in the first couple sections that we've done together. All right, so I'm just going to do this just in case someone or anyone didn't get screenshots of question 3. Take your screenshots then of question 4 or of question 3 and 4. And then we can have a little brain break before we carry on. While you're doing that, if anyone has any questions for me, you can raise your hand and let me know.
Yeah, and we hope that you are correcting your work, my people. You're correcting your work like this. When you do these section in class, you will nail it. Then that's what we want.
Oh, sorry, weird noise. Okay, no questions. Right, brain break. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, I have some regrets about how I've chosen to do this, so let's just move this so that we can. Oh, gotta get my joke in. Yeah. Okay, there is our brain break. So there had been a request last week about like problem solving with fractions, and it was actually a very good request in terms of making that a what is this called, a brain break sort of activity. So not all of my brain breaks now will be related to fraction word problem sort of things, but some of them will be. And this is just, again, these are the sorts of questions we will ask you, and these are the sorts of questions we'll get stuck on. And so it's important to get practice in as we go along. So this brain break says there are 5 kilograms of potatoes. Sandra uses 3/4 of a kilogram for stew and 2 1/3 kilograms for mashed potatoes. So the question is, how many kilograms of potatoes does she have left? So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about what we need to do in order to figure out how many kilograms of potatoes she has left. And then if you guys are ready, I want an answer in the chat. And think about all of the important things when we are using fractions. If we're adding or subtracting fractions, we need an LCD. If we're timesing or dividing fractions, we might need to do tip and times, or we might need to do KFC. So just remember all of those things as you're going and trying this question for me.
Spicy, spicy, spicy. Let's go. Let's go, my people. Let's go. Let's go. We can do this. We can do this. I'll let you know when you get it correct. So how many kilograms of potatoes does she have left? Let's go. So can you imagine, like, practically like 5 kilograms of potatoes, right, that they buy? So that sack that they buy, that they normally buy, right? Sia, nope, that's not correct. But keep trying, you know, I'll just tell you guys that it's not correct. That's the only thing I can say. Thomas, still not correct. Jamila, not correct. So Sandra uses like 3/4, okay, kilogram of the 5 kilogram, okay, for a stew, and 2/3 kilogram for mashed potatoes. How many kilograms of potatoes does she have left? So I know we don't have time, but I mean, just picture or draw, like, you know, the 5 kilograms of potatoes, maybe they had, you can split them up, you know, into that's how fast you can actually get the things. Ooh, using my check here. Let's see if anyone got it right. Nope. No. Anyone who have put an answer there still is a nope. Nope. No. Please, if you put it in fractions, let's try to convert it to, I mean, if you put it in decimal, let's try to convert it to fractions, okay? Leave it in a fractional form. Always advisable, unless you don't make mistakes of like missing other digits. Let's go, my people. We can do this. We can do this. Do this. And we have done fractions, remember? So you know now. You know you cannot add 3/4 with 2/3 without converting the 2/3 into like a, you know, a normal fraction, so that you can have the same denominator, and then you can add. Once you have that, then you know what to do. Now I've given you a hint.
Are we struggling, guys?
Yeah, it looks like
Not
we
a
are
bad thing.
struggling.
Okay, let's have a seat. So you're gonna just have to excuse my beautiful diagram here. Here are my 5 kilograms of potatoes. So it says she uses 3/4 kilograms for a stew. So let's just pretend that's 3/4. I'm not doing it very accurately, but there's my stew. Then she's using 2 1/3 kilograms for mashed potatoes. Oopsie doopsie. Mashed potatoes. Okay. We want to know, or the question is asking, how many kilograms does she have left? So what we want is this little section over here. Now, if we know that the whole square, this whole block is 5 kilograms, what we want to essentially do is take away what has been used from the mashed potatoes and for the stew. So, whoopsie, this is sort of like what we've been talking about now in algebraic expressions. We want to set up a sum for ourselves. We've got 5 kilograms minus 3/4 kilograms for the stew minus the 2 1/3 kilograms for the mashed potatoes. Now, because these are all kilograms, you don't really need to keep the kilograms there. We know our answer is going to be kilograms. And so what we have is 5 minus 3/4 minus 2 1/3. Now, remember, Yolanda said to you, we don't really like that mixed number. We want to try and change that. So what we do is we convert everything to a fraction. So this would be 5/1 minus 3/4. And we know the trick with our mixed fractions, our mixed numbers, is to say 2 times 3, which is 6, plus 1, which is 7. So this would be -7/3. And we know it's negative because there was a negative sign there. Now we know that when we are adding or subtracting fractions, we have to find an LCD. Now my LCD here is 12. So I would times the 1/12 and the 5/12, the 4/3, and so the 3/3, and the 3/4, and the 7/4. And that's creating for me an LCD. So now I've got 60/12 minus 9/12 minus 28/12. And now I just go and subtract. Like Yolanda said, we've done fractions. We know how to do this. And this gives me 23/12 kilograms. Now that's a bit of a weird looking number. So you can leave it like that if you want, but you can also convert it to a mixed number, which would give you 1 11/12 of a kilogram. So guys, what we needed to be careful of here, or what we needed to realize here, is that I gave you the whole. I told you what parts of the potatoes I'd used. And so we needed to use subtraction in order to figure out how much we had left. And this then brought in all of our knowledge that we did over the fractions course of finding LCDs and finding LCDs, being able to subtract once we had an LCD, converting our mixed fractions, etc., etc. So I would take a screenshot if I was you. Even though this was a brain break, this is the sort of like word problem solving question we could ask you in a test. And so it's good to see how you would approach something like this. Dial, you pronounce my surname kind of how it's spelled. So white horn. Yeah, like the color and then a horn. It's the only way I know how to describe it sometimes. Okay, guys, so I hope we all got that. I hope that makes sense. What I often like to do, especially with fractions, because fractions sometimes confuses me. So what I like to do is I like to draw a picture for myself, just to visualize, okay, this is how much I have. What am I actually trying to figure out here? Oh, I'm trying to figure out what's left. And then it gives me an idea of the fact that because I'm figuring out what's left, I'm going to subtract. Alrighty, let's carry on with our algebra though. So what I want you guys to try, and this is sort of following on from the substitution situation that we had, is fill in this table. Now, there's not really any logic to this, so let's add some letters here. E, F, G, and H. So basically what I want is, I'm telling you the value of X, so I want you to find the value of the expression. So if we think about this first one, it's X plus 4. I'm telling you X is 8. So you've got 8 plus 4. And so the value of my expression when X is 8 is 12. If I then move over and work out the value of the expression when X is 20, I still have X plus 4, but now I've got 20 as my value for X plus 4. And so if X is 20, the value is 24. So what I want you guys to do is try C, D, E, F, G, and H for me. Put them on the chat, number them, and then I'll grab some hands to explain how you did it in a minute or two. But remember on the chat, write C, answer, D, answer, E, so that we know which is which. So remember, guys, what you're doing here is substitution. Remember to give me the final simplified answer, and remember to just take note of what signs you're working with when you are substituting. I'm seeing some answers coming through. Very nice. Keep them coming. And I like that we're numbering our answers. Well done. Good, guys. You're doing really nicely. Well done. Keep it coming.
Wow, we already on number D. Let's go, my people. We can do this. Remember, you are writing it on your book so that you can do corrections, right? By the time you do corrections here with Teacher Sam, you need to be able to look at what you did so that you can correct it.
And that's really important, guys. If you're not writing things down in your book, then it doesn't really go into your head. Like, I know you probably hear your teacher say that all the time, but writing down is one of the ways that we learn stuff. And so we need to be writing down these examples, and we need to be writing down our answers, A, so that it's going in and we're learning, but B, also so that you can check when you're done. Reese, I assume you meant for G20, not 2P. I get you. Nice, guys, good. I'm part of this calculation that we've got going on here. Calculation? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the answers are coming. Yeah, they are making sense.
Nice, guys, good. Alrighty, if anyone would like to raise their hand to give me some answers, now is the time to do so. Okay, Io, do you want to give me, what are we on? Let's do C.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, C say x minus 3, I mean minus 6. So 8 replaces x, and then you say 8 minus 6, which gives you 2.
Perfect, well done. So guys, positive 2 for question C. And as I said, we substituted in the value of x. Okay, boy 2, D. Oh, Ghana.
Okay, so ma'am, x minus 6 is equals to 20 in brackets minus 6 is equals to 14.
Perfect. So again, we're substituting 20 in place of x. 20 minus 6 is exactly 14. Very nicely done, boy 2.
Thank you.
Alrighty, guys. Mvuyo, do you want to help me with E?
Yes, ma'am. E is 14 minus 8. The answer is 34. 30,
30?
32, yeah.
Yes. Good, Mvuyo, well done. Okay, so guys, sorry, I didn't actually show the expression there, although I hope we all understand, but we've got 40 minus x. We're replacing x with 8. Just remember your brackets there, because this is now going to make it negative 8, which means we have to take 8 away from 40, and that lands us at 32. Nice. Anyone want to help me with F? I've got no more hands. Anyone want to help? Last 3. Okay, Mvuyo again, help me with F.
F, ma'am, is 40 minus 20. And the answer is 20.
Excellent, well done. So again, we're taking away from 40. So our answer here is 20. Nice. Olo, G. Oh, sorry.
So G is 12 plus 8
Good.
equals 20.
Excellent, well done. Very nice. Okay, so guys, what we wanted to do there is we again had 12 plus x. So we substituted in 8 for x and we got our answer. So Wazi, you want to help me with the last one?
Yes, ma'am. It's 12 plus 20 is 32.
Perfect. Again, we're replacing x with 20. And because we're adding 12 plus 20, 32. Well done. Nice, guys. So again, this seems like a silly exercise, but we need to be able to substitute, because this is one of the ways that they test algebra, is that once we have an expression, or if I give you an expression, can you substitute into the expression to give me a value? So I'm going to wait there for you to screenshot. I'm also